Metal Gear Solid 5. V? 5? 5. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a very anticlimactic title. The trailers gave us the expectation that this game was going to be another masterpiece by Kojima-chan, a 5-star meal, the most perfect game ever. But it never happened. Mommy and Daddy got divorced, and the Phantom Pain that was released left a sour taste in the gamers' mouths. So the question for today is this: how good is the Phantom Pain that we got? And Ground Zeroes, cause why not? To begin, the gameplay is hella fun, as you are given the freedom to choose on how you want to complete an objective, be it the sneak and stealthy approach the series is known for, or you can completely ignore the original formula and go absolutely nuclear by bombing the shit out of the enemy base. With a huge choice of weapons and tools at your disposal, the only limitation is your imagination. For a 9-year-old game, it's very photorealistic and just gorgeous. I don't have the adequate words to describe the graphics, just trust me on this one, bro. Spoiler alert! The story is one of the most fascinating ones out of any Metal Gear games, and not because it's necessarily good, but what it could have been had it been finished. On the surface, the whole talk about using parasites to kill specific languages sounds like another one of Kojima's wacky antics, but look past that and you'll see the themes of pain, revenge, betrayal, and the brutal conditions of war following you around wherever you go. So when it comes to anti-war messages, it does a good job at it. But even though Kojima himself says that the game is finished, the existence of Chapter 3 intro card and Mission 51 very much say otherwise. That's why the story is very polarizing among the community, where the haters say that it's shallow and unfinished, and the glazers praise it for what it gets to tell. I think it's the lack of clear storytelling that makes it so polarizing, as you have to have a high IQ to understand Metal Gear, you know what I'm saying? And yes, I do have an MSF tattoo, and no, you cannot see it. It's for quiet eyes only. The original soundtrack of this game is, in my opinion, forgettable and misused. Like, yeah, it gets you into a tense mood when doing a mission, but that's that. And what I mean by misused, for example, is the Jeep scene, where after Mr. Skull Emoji over here tells you his dastardly plan because he's, Hungarian, you just sit there in silence for over a minute while The Sins of the Father, one of the all-time best tracks in the entire series, plays in the background. So, who's your favorite band? Oh, definitely Duran Duran. Nice, me too. I love their newest hit, Invisible. In MGS3, at least you were climbing a ladder while listening to Snake Eater. Here you're just awkwardly listening to the finest compositions of the game. It's wasted potential, and it sucks to see it this way. Only the copyrighted music and the music playing during cutscenes save the game from being a musical blunder. But moving on, the replayability is pretty unincentivizing. The core gameplay mechanics is what keeps the game replayable, in tandem with the multiplayer part of MGS5, but it just doesn't cut it after you complete the story. As for originality, it adds new and tiny details that previous games didn't have, making every mainline game unique from the rest, and I always found that commitment to detail in Metal Gear a nice touch. As always, Japanese-made games are excellent when it comes to a smooth and optimized experience, and on a good PC, you won't experience any kind of frame rate drops or lag. That's a perfect score right there. But now we come to the multiplayer aspect here, and the multiplayer in this game, both the FOB stuff and the MGO stuff, doesn't feel like it belongs here. Don't get me wrong, I think for what they are, it can give you a great experience. But ask yourself, how many people were/are committed to the multiplayer? Also, these parts of the game very much feel like a ploy by Konami to sell ridiculous DLCs and microtransactions. Is Yugo not enough for you, Kisama? The 2 maps you're thrown into, plus Mother Base, are given much love and care, but I don't feel connected or attached to it at all. Probably because you're thrown into a battle zone, so it's not a very welcoming atmosphere. And it feels more like a sandbox where you can do stuff, but not much. It's either Fultoning or deleting soldiers and equipment, gathering plants, or hunting animals. That's it, you got nothing more. It's fun to do it, but there could have been more stuff to do. As for the characters, they are wonderfully crafted, both in personality and design, and are near impossible to forget unless you're Joe Biden. Snake has his cool horn, Miller is an invalid, and Ocelot has a Jew nose. And some characters are definitely more memorable than others. Very memorable.
Horny.
Now, I don't know how to feel about the progression and pacing, as it feels lackluster at times. You progress through the main mission smoothly, which most aren't even connected to the story, but then you're stopped from the final 2 missions by the missions you already did, but now with added difficulty, because they really wanted to round up to a nice and even number. The game stalls the eventual end of the game, which I don't like. And by far, what seriously slows the game down are the helicopter rides. Every single time, I gotta open the door, look at nature, and wait for the fat ass of a helicopter to get to the landing zone, and then I can start playing. I understand that Kojima gets high off of making things cinematic all the time, but having to wait to get to the mission area makes me disgruntled when I actually start playing. As for the game setting, it could have been done a bit better. With all this fancy equipment you are given, you get the impression that this game is set in the 2000s, and the only things that make you realize that the game is set in 1984 are the cassette tapes and Kami! The options menu in MGS5 is very basic, as you can't even change the sound volume at all, for example, while the UI is very futuristic looking for the 80s. Nonetheless, it's very readable and understandable, which matters more than the aesthetics, and the in-game customizability you have to give yourself a unique look is decent, but still, the options could have been done much better. Modders for this game have given a lot of work to improve or add missing features of Phantom Pain, and I think they've done a good job, but some of you guys are straight up naughty. Achievements are pretty standard, but in true Japanese fashion, you gotta ace every mission and complete all mission tasks, along with capturing every animal. These 3 are the hardest, but you have plenty of guides to help you out with getting the blue ribbon. At €30, the base game might not be the best bang for a buck, but getting the definitive edition for also €30 is a better deal. Wait, why are both of them the same price? Very weird. The emotional impact you experience in Phantom Pain is multifaceted. No, that sounds like something ChatGPT would say. The emotional impact in Phantom Pain felt like a deep blue ball session. It starts great, making me feel all cool as I play a snake, while witnessing sometimes animalistic feelings working itself into you. But then, just as the game is about to reach the climax, you get blue balled with so many loose ends. What happens to Quiet, Sahelanthropus, the parasites, and why are they never mentioned again? Where's the rest of it? It just makes me very sad that this is how the game will be remembered, without a conclusion, even though we know what happens later. Again, it's disheartening how the Phantom Pain was caught between corporate politics during development, but again, the things that we did get were pretty good. In less than 2 months, it's going to be 9 years since the release of Metal Gear Solid 5, and I desperately hope that Kojima will pull some devious twist and give us the 3rd chapter and a complete story. Before I give my final rating, here's what I've done in my 99 hours of playing MGS5. And here's the total score, which gives us a mean score of 8.48 out of 10, giving the game a bold stamp. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Whoa!